Hey, welcome to this deep dive. So today we're taking a closer look at President Trump's recent physical exam results.
Yeah, the details just came out. We're working off a CBS News report here, basically summarizing the White House physician's findings.
Exactly. And our mission really is just to understand the key health points,
Okay.
see what they might suggest about his fitness for office, trying to cut through any extra noise.
Right. Just sticking to the facts presented in this specific report.
Okay, so first up, the overall take from the physicians, quite a strong statement.
What does it say?
He states the president remains in excellent health and also fully fit to execute the duties of the office.
Fully fit. Okay. And did he give any reason for that assessment?
Yeah. Interestingly, he points to the president's active lifestyle. Things like meetings, public appearances, press stuff, even mentions golf.
Huh. So linking his day-to-day activities directly to his health status, that's a perspective.
It is. Now let's get into some of the numbers they released. His weight, for instance.
Okay, what's the latest figure?
It's listed at 224 pounds.
224. And how does that compare?
Well, back in June 2020, it was reported as 244 pounds. So that's a drop.
20 pounds. Yeah, that's noticeable. What about blood pressure?
Right. Blood pressure is now 128/74.
128/74. And the comparison?
In June 2020, it was 121/79. So the top number is up a bit, bottom number down slightly.
So some changes there. The weight loss is generally seen as positive, of course. The blood pressure, 128/74, it's slightly higher systolically, but still in a decent range. Doctors would just monitor that.
Makes sense. The report also talks about a neurological exam. It says it was comprehensive.
Okay, and the findings?
No abnormalities in his mental status. That sounds pretty clear-cut, doesn't it?
It does. A standard neurological check looks at, cognitive function, memory, attention. So no abnormalities is the key takeaway there, based on this specific exam.
Okay. Then there's the head, ear, nose, and throat section. Mostly clear. It says no significant abnormalities.
Mostly. Was there an exception?
Yes. One thing noted was scaring on the right ear from a gunshot wound.
Ah, right. That links back to the assassination attempt in July 2024.
Exactly. The report mentions the scar, but that's it. No further discussion of the attempt itself in this summary.
Just noting the physical evidence remaining. Gotcha. Anything else on specific findings?
Yeah, it briefly mentions a colonoscopy from July 2024. Found diverticulosis and a benign polyp.
Okay. Diverticulosis is pretty common, those little pouches in the colon wall. And a benign polyp, well, benign means not cancerous, also a relatively standard find.
Right. Sounds like routine findings for someone his age. Now, for context, when was his last big checkup?
The report says the last known comprehensive exam was back in September 2023, and the last annual physical as president before this one was June 2020.
And it seems like maybe fewer details were released from those previous ones.
That's often the case, yeah. The level of detail can vary.
And this exam we're discussing, it just happened last Friday, right? At Walter Reed.
Correct, Walter Reed Hospital.
Okay.
And it's the first physical reported in his second term.
Okay, so let's sort of wrap this up. The main takeaways seem to be the physician says excellent overall health, physically and cognitively.
Based on this report, yes.
We have those specific weight and blood pressure numbers showing some changes since 2020. Weight down, blood pressure slightly shifted. And then there are the mentions of the ear scarring from the 2024 incident and the colonoscopy findings from last July.
Pretty much covers it. It's a snapshot from this particular examination.
So for everyone listening, it kind of raises that ongoing question, how much detail about a leader's health does the public really need?
Yeah, and how does knowing this or not knowing other things affect our perception of their ability to do the job?
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.